with the features. We'll talk about some new features for both 20 and 21 model year. The 21s are going to be hitting ground sometime next month, so you should see a few of those inbound units, and there are a few changes for the 21 model year. So just make sure you're up on that. We'll talk a little bit about some standard features, powertrain, also, of course, traction and four-wheel drive technology. And of course, we always talk about safety, which is a big part of our entire Toyota lineup, and we'll end up with a little bit on competition at the end. So what's new for the 2020 model year? You're like, well, why are you talking about 2020? You just said the 21s are out next month. Because we did add a few features to the 20 model year, I just want to make sure everyone is on board and aware that that has happened. So Android Auto is now standard on all RAV4s, regardless of grade or head unit. Sirius XM with a 3-month trial period is also standard on all RAV4s. We have the new TRD off-road grade. All right, you're probably familiar with that. And start-stop technology was expanded throughout the lineup, so now it's a standard feature of the LE, XLE, and XLE premium grades. So what's new for 2021? Well, we've added an additional grade in the hybrid lineup, so now you will have an XLE premium hybrid grade. So that is just a new model for 21. We've also added a standard skid plate to the TRD off-road RAV4. And we have the new engine shutoff feature that we mentioned last week on the Corolla family. So what we would like to announce is that's a standard feature now for all 2021 model year Toyota vehicles. And that will essentially shut the engine off if you would forget to turn the vehicle off after you exit. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So let's look at the grade walk. Of course, LE, 4432, the all-wheel drive. Standard features, pretty good list here. 7-inch touchscreen. Of course, it's going to have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Amazon Alexa, Sirius XM. All those features are going to be standard across the board on all RAV4s. Standard Safety Connect and Wi-Fi Connect on all RAV4s. And the fuel economy is pretty good, 27, 34, and 30, with a standard 1,500-pound towing capacity. If you look at the LE Hybrid, it's a $1,000 increase in MSRP. What am I getting for that $1,000? Well, you're going to get over 10 more miles per gallon, so a 40 mile per gallon combined EPA rating, an additional 250 pounds of towing capability, so 1,750 in total. You're going to get the drive modes, so you'll have Eco, EV, and Sport. Dual zone climate control, so that's one thing you're not going to get on the LE gas model, so that's definitely a value for that $1,000, and 17-inch alloy wheels versus steel wheels with wheel covers on the gas LE. So quite a bit of content there for the $1,000, but of course, as I mentioned earlier, the lease price is the same this month for both gas and hybrid RAV. XLE gas, you're gonna add a power driver seat. You're also gonna get Smart Key with push button start, 17-inch alloy wheels, 5 USB ports, so 3 in the front, 2 in the rear. The start-stop technology, which I mentioned, and a EPA estimated 29 mpg combined. Now, the hybrid version of XLE also gives you the 40 miles per gallon, so an 11 mile per gallon increase, an additional 16 horsepower, and a little bit more towing, as I mentioned, 1,750, all for just $1,000. The XLE Premium Gas, so that's going to add power moonroof, soft text interior, power liftgate, of course the start-stop, and the 29 mpg combined. And our all-new XLE Premium Hybrid grade, which is a 4528 for 2021. Again, 16 more horsepower, 40 mile per gallon combined, and 1,750 tow capability. And the XSE hybrid, of course, XSE, as we all know, is only available in a hybrid because it's a sporty, kind of performance-oriented vehicle, so we wanted it to have our most powerful powertrain, which, of course, at the time, when we launched this version of RAV4, was the hybrid powertrain, and now, of course, it's the plug-in hybrid powertrain in the Prime. But sport-tuned suspension, 18-inch alloy wheels, heated front seats. You're going to have a 7-inch multi-information display and an 8-inch touchscreen with Audio Plus. So that will give you Service Connect and Remote Connect with the Audio Plus head unit and a digital rearview mirror. The limited grade gas model adds heated front memory seats, the premium audio with navigation, an 11-speaker JBL sound system, 8-inch touchscreen and 7-inch MID. Destination assist with a 1-year trial period will be included with that premium nav system. 19-inch super chrome alloy wheels, puddle lamps, so when you open the door or approach the vehicle with your smart key, you will see the illumination on the ground just beside the driver and front passenger door. And an EPA estimated 28 miles per gallon combined. Keep in mind the limited grade does not come with the start-stop technology, so 1 mile per gallon less overall fuel economy. The limited hybrid, of course, adds that additional fuel economy, so 12 miles per gallon increase here on the limited, 16 horsepower and addition and 1,750 pounds of towing capability. Again, just a $1,000 increase in MSRP. The adventure grade, so it's got the high-rise roof rails. It also has the 120-volt AC power outlet in the rear. An 8-inch touchscreen will be standard. Again, 28 miles per gallon combined. No start-stop on this vehicle, but it will come with a 3,500-pound towing capacity. So that's the most of any RAV4. And the additional equipment that gives you that capability on the Adventure and the TRD off-road as well, you will have an additional cooling capability for the engine and transmission. So that's why you have that increased towing capability. And again, that off-road, the 4448, which is new for 2020, it'll come with, it's kind of like the Adventure, but it's a little bit more extreme because it's going to have the TRD suspension, wheels and tires, so a little bit more aggressive tire, TRD badging, 18-inch black alloy wheels, power liftgate, 27 miles per gallon combined. Again, no start-stop on this vehicle either, but again, that additional 3,500 on the towing capability. So pretty impressive towing capability for a small SUV. And I know we covered this, and you're pretty excited about this vehicle, but the 2021 RAV4 Prime. So our plug-in hybrid vehicle, it is our second fastest vehicle in the Toyota lineup behind the Supra. So if you have not driven it yet, I would encourage you, if you get the opportunity, to drive it. It's got unbelievable EV performance, but when you put it in hybrid mode and you combine the gas engine with the electric motor, you're going to get that 302 horsepower. So unbelievable, just over 5 seconds, 0 to 60 acceleration. Full charge, you get about a 42-mile range in EV-only driving, and that's a 38 mile per gallon combined rating for the hybrid operation. So you're going to have several modes you can choose from on this, as we covered last week. You're going to have an all-EV mode, you'll have a hybrid mode, you'll have a mode that switches between EV and hybrid based on how you're driving. So unbelievable technology, 18.1 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery, so the biggest of any of our hybrid or plug-in hybrid vehicles. Charge time varies. If you get the XSE with the premium package, it includes that higher capability onboard charger, so it'll charge in 2.5 hours fully, versus if you don't get the premium package or an SE, you will have that 4.5 hour time to charge the vehicle fully. Otherwise, if you just plug either one into the 120-volt outlet in your garage, it's about a 12-hour charge time from empty to fully charged. So you have some options. You know, if you're at a public charger, you can plug in and charge it much quicker. If you just have the outlet in your garage, then it's 12 hours. And if a customer wants to, they can install a level 2 charger in their garage, which is 240 volts, and it would charge it in, again, either 2.5 hours if you have an XSE Premium, or the 4.5 hour charge for the other grades. But the towing capability is going to be in between the TRD off-road and adventure grade and the hybrid. So it's 2,500 pounds of towing capability, so pretty good. More than gas or hybrid models, but a little bit less than the adventure and off-road. for our TRD off-road. Okay, so some traction technology, and I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with our dynamic torque control off-road or all-wheel drive system. So it is front-wheel drive. We do send up to 50% of the power to the rear wheels when needed, and that can be in a loss of traction. It could be if you're accelerating rapidly, so it can prevent a loss of traction or be more proactive, or sometimes when you're cornering to improve the handling capabilities around a curve or a corner. But we've also added new technology on the Limited, the Adventure, and the TRD off-road, which is dynamic torque vectoring all-wheel drive. So while all RAV4s can send power front to rear, we've never been able to send power side to side. Well, and that's really what the torque vectoring all-wheel drive does. It transfers torque from the right to the left and vice versa across the rear axle. So we can now transfer power from the front wheels to the rear wheels, and then we can transfer in the rear side to side. And this, again, will work not just in inclement weather or if you're in some light off-road situations. It will also improve handling on dry pavement. So when you're cornering, going around curves at highway speeds, it's going to shift power side to side to help you go around that corner with better traction. Powertrains. Powertrain on the gas model, it's our 2.5 liter dynamic force, 4-cylinder, 203 horsepower, so pretty good in this segment. EPA estimated 25, 33, 28, or 29, depending on if you have start-stop technology, and 1,500 pounds of towing capability. The hybrid model uses that same 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, but ups the power to 219 horsepower and up to a 40 mile per gallon combined rating. So that's a 42% increase in fuel economy versus the gas model. And again, that lease price is the same this month. It's $209. Doesn't matter gas or hybrid. And it's got a little bit more towing capability, so $1,750 on the towing. The engine shutoff, or automatic engine shutoff that I mentioned, so we went over this last week if you joined us for the Corolla family, but it's going to be standard on all 2021 RAV4s, even the Prime. It's actually going to be standard on all 21 Toyota vehicles, with the exception of 2. The Supra will not have this feature, and also the 86 will not have that feature. So every other vehicle in the Toyota lineup will have this as a standard feature, and the way it works, if you put the vehicle in park and you do not shut the engine off when you exit the vehicle, or even if you stay in the vehicle, you will get a notification when you put it in park on the MID that the vehicle will shut off in 1 hour. And this is due so that, of course, if you forgot and left the vehicle running, especially in a hybrid vehicle, sometimes the engine's not running when you stop, so you may not even realize that it's on. So it will go ahead and shut the vehicle down after an hour. Now, if you're sitting in the vehicle and you don't want it to shut off in an hour, you can cancel it through the MID. It gives you that option. But there's no button to press to turn it off permanently. Right? It's going to be on every time you start the vehicle, and then you can select whether to engage it once you put the vehicle in park or not. So safety, huge part of the Toyota lineup, of course, is a lot of standard safety. So of course we have Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 with the pre-collision system and pedestrian detection, lane departure alert with steering assist. Now what's new with that? If you've driven the 21 Prime and you took it out on the road with the lane departure alert on, what you will notice is it no longer beeps. It vibrates the steering wheel instead. So that is a new feature. So when you kind of start to get close to one of the lines, either the center line or the white line on the outside of the lane, it will go ahead and vibrate the steering wheel instead of alerting everyone in the cabin that you're close to one of the lines. Automatic high beams, new feature. When you turn those on the 21 model year, you don't have to engage the stock to turn the high beams on. So as soon as you're over 25 miles an hour and there's no vehicles in front of you, the high beams will come on automatically. And they'll, of course, shut off as soon as you come either across headlights or taillights or drop below 25 miles an hour. So you don't even have to turn the high beams on automatically. As long as the auto high beam button is engaged, they'll turn on whenever the time is appropriate. And then, of course, full speed dynamic radar cruise control, another standard feature of Toyota Safety Sense 2.0. And the addition of daytime bicyclist detection, low light pedestrian detection, road sign assist, and lane tracing assist, all standard features. Okay, standard safety on all trims, also 8 standard airbags. You're going to have 24-hour roadside assistance with Toyota Care, Safety Connect for a 1-year trial period on all RAVs, as well as the Star Safety System. Now, just a brief little bit on the competitors. We didn't want to get too many competitors. It's a very crowded segment, so we just want to focus on one of our main competitors. Of course, in New York is going to be Honda. They do have 2 vehicles that compete with our 2 different powertrains. So they do have a gas and hybrid version of the CR-V. So when you look at our fuel economy on our gas model, we do have a 1 mile per gallon edge, so not huge, but we do have a considerable horsepower increase over the Honda. So they're 1.5 liter engines, 190 horsepower. Of course, we have 203, so a 13 horsepower advantage. We also have standard safety connect, which on all grades of RAV4, but the CR-V LX doesn't offer it, not even as an option. Other technology which you would expect in a vehicle, which is standard on RAV4, like Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Sirius XM, not available on a CR-V LX either. And of course, airbags, 8 airbags versus the 6 airbags on the CR-V. Now, if we take a look at the hybrid version of those vehicles, kind of the same thing, 40 mile per gallon combined rating on our RAV, 38 on the CR-V, so still pretty close, 2 miles per gallon less. But we do still have an advantage on horsepower, 219 versus their 212. One of the things that Honda had to do with the CR-V to make it a hybrid is they had to sacrifice a little bit of their cargo space in the rear. So we've got 37.5 cubic feet. They reduced theirs down to 33.2. So we've got over 4 cubic feet of advantage there in the rear cargo area. And our hybrid battery warranty is much longer than the Honda hybrid battery warranty. So we've got 10-150, as everyone knows, starting with 2020. All of our hybrid and plug-in hybrid batteries are 10-150. Honda still has the 8-year 100,000